right. Hello, everybody. Are you ready for the Weekend Collective? I hope you are. Good to see you. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look here at the next week. I'm so used to doing the monthlies here. The next 7 days in particular. And basically, we're going to focus on a special topic, which I love. It's one basically that I don't think we've done this before. How to find joy or create more joy in your life. One of the totems that you chose for me to look at today is the Dolphin. So we'll get into that right next. That's the very next piece here. I always begin my readings with channeled messages. By the way, if it's your first time joining, every single segment is for you. The only piece that is fine-tuned to a specific sign will be the elemental forecast. So just sit back, grab a cup of coffee or water or whatever, and relax. And let's get into today's reading. So I always connect with dreams before showing up here, and this morning it was pretty interesting because there was this feeling of not wanting to let go, to want to protect oneself against something, kind of like you're waiting for things to get okay. So we're going to talk about that first, and then there's some good stuff as well. So coming up for air, and I selected the Judgment card here because it seemed like an appropriate one for a fresh start, for a second chance. But what it felt like was almost like what an octopus would go through, where it blends in to its environment like a wallflower. So I saw someone kind of blend into the background, hold their breath, and close their eyes. It's almost like wanting to disappear, to make sure that nothing bad could happen. And then it was really amazing. I felt spirit kind of like pull the energy upward and force the person to kind of look around and see that the coast is clear. It's time to breathe. It's going to be okay. Some of you may have just been through a moment, something difficult, a loss, a setback, some negative feedback. And there's this tendency sometimes to just not want to put yourself out there, right? Because you're afraid that it might repeat. So I got a very clear message from Spirit that you have to keep trying. And more specifically, that one of the ways that we manifest is we want to prepare and expect and look for the good, not just the bad. It's good to have contingency plans. It's good to have a backup plan. But we also want to plan for success. And that was the main piece of this. Judgment is basically an indication here that once you've made a decision, accepted that there's something better on the horizon, you can rise up. And I really felt that energy of lifting up or being pulled up, being supported. I saw community. It wasn't just you. And there were other people that were waiting for that cue to move onward and upward, okay? Pretty powerful, actually. Because I'm a reader, sometimes I see myself reading the cards in dreams. I'm trying to sleep, but I'm working in the dreams. And there were 2 or 3 cards that kept showing up as I was doing different spreads. And try though I may, the only one, the pivotal one that came through was the Ace of Cups. It kept coming through in the crowning position, which is where your head should be. So this is basically a moment where you can focus a little bit more on love, on relationships, on creativity. But the pivotal piece on this one too is to also focus on receiving, because that's ultimately what you put a cup out there to do. So it's sort of like, I'm ready to drink in this moment. I'm ready to receive. The cup was upright. It was not reversed. So it feels like it's a kind of continuation of the previous slide, which is if you're ready and willing to come out of the sort of like scenery and the shadows and say, okay, I'm ready to receive abundance and love and opportunity and blessings in the highest form. Well, that's the first step, isn't it? Okay. This might be a great week for relationships, for love, or for creativity. Stay open. And then you chose this one for me, the Dolphin. I really like it. I had a feeling like when I put it up there as an option, it might win because it's kind of a universally adored animal. They're very social. They're very communicative. The first card that came to, it had to be Cups because it's an aquatic creature, but the 10 of Cups because of the social energy of it. Their intelligence is probably only matched by their playfulness, and I think this is why most humans have an affinity for dolphins. But that also reminds us that when you have fun, when you're connected to something. Want to say hi, Paul? He's like, no, not unless we're playing. I was going to try to pull him up. He's like, nope. Yeah, when you have fun, you're a lot more productive. You're a lot more able to make connections, make things happen. And if you're not having fun in your life right now, it doesn't have to be your job always, but there should be things that bring you this sense of excitement for getting up in the morning. So try to cultivate that. We'll look in the cards and see if there's some opportunities there as well. They move pretty quickly. This week could go by fast. Be prepared. Cut out any unnecessary sort of like distractions so that you can keep your momentum and keep your pace. And I thought it was interesting. There was one species of dolphin in particular that could not just sleep with one eye open, but they could also kind of like turn off half of their brain and just focus on always staying aware. And I think that this is going to help you sort of navigate through a Four of Cups moment where you don't want to miss an opportunity, a blessing. You don't want to also potentially miss a block. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well. All right. So a beautiful totem today, which should nicely connect us to, the energy of joy and love as well. Okay. So the next piece on this that we're going to look at is a 7-day forecast, which will take us from today, this Sunday, to next Sunday. I took a couple moments at the beginning and I was using different decks here to get prepared here. So I'm going to try to use predominantly animal totem decks. So let's get started. Thanks to everybody that's giving back with stickers and memberships. I'll take a moment at the end of the broadcast to express my gratitude, but I do see it out of the corner of my eye, so thank you so much. Let's see, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Very interesting that the death card falls just very closely to the equinox, which I'll do a special reading for this week. Okay, just get everything in view for you, and then let's get started here. All right, so we're going to begin with this Sunday, and we have coming out of your shell a little bit, the Hanged Man. I love that this is also nicely connected to what I was talking about a little bit with the dolphin being able to sleep with one eye open, leaning into your additional senses, not just what you see, but also what you hear and what you feel. This is a pretty intuitive and plugged in creature. So bats obviously using sound to see as well. I would say the one thing that I'm picking up on with this particular card is listen to the tone. And also listen to your heart. Like, how do you feel when someone speaks? Does it feel like you believe them? Does it feel like there's more to the story? Follow that intuition. Just taking it at face value, the Hanged Man is basically saying you're exactly where you need to be right now. It's good to finish things. Like, rather than starting something brand new today, it's a great day to finish. Today's daily card, which also connects to this, would be editing, revising, reviewing, asking questions. All of that's good because you really want to make sure you understand where you're at in the moment before proceeding. So get a lay for the land, take care of yourself, and think before moving. And that's the main thing here. So part of that can be asking questions and researching for sure. All right, let's move on from Sunday to Monday. And we have here the Sun, which is amazing. This is a really great way to start off the week because it's a card of power, charisma, energy, genesis and birth. Typically, you would see a little baby riding in on a horse. And so this is showing it's a great day to launch or announce or begin something new. Okay, so the pause that you're taking today will lead to a very fruitful Monday. And the other thing with this one is you don't have to reinvent the wheel. This almost reminds me of like a supernova. And one of the cool things with a supernova is all of the old material gets sort of jettisoned out and new things are made from that. So you may be, I chose judgment in the channel messages, but this is very close to that. It's just basically finding a new way to breathe life into something that maybe others don't see the potential, but you do. Okay, just a great day overall for relationships, for business, for work, for personal development. There's nothing negative to say about the Sun card, particularly because it's in the upright position. Okay, so as we take a look here at the energy for Tuesday, we have Temperance in reverse. This could be a challenging day for just basically being patient with yourself and the speed with which things are moving in your life, right? So one thing that I do like here is I do think you're going to be able to create some traction, but we see some tears here as well. So it's important to take a moment to just get in touch with how you feel, and if there's anything that isn't to your liking or is distracting you, I think the first and the most important thing to do is to focus on basically figuring out what you want to do about that. And then, again, a little bit of the message from Sunday. Know that if you've reached a temporary pause, it's more like a semicolon or a set of ellipses in punctuation. It doesn't mean that the end is there. It means that there's a pause, take a breath, and then things are going to continue, okay? So I think that you're just being asked to reset, review, clarify, and then things should start to go in a good place. Take the first step. Typically, in this card, you would see an angel. It would have 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. It would have 2 cups, and it's trying to balance out the energy. So there may also be an opportunity for work-life balance or just trying to take that first step. Okay, midweek, this is where it gets interesting. Again, we're getting close to the equinox, and so we have the death card coming through, and this is a time for change, movement, release, and transformation. I mean, death is often illustrated in such a way that you take a deep breath. It's supposed to get your attention. Death, the Tower, the World, they're big cards. They're all cards of change. Change is not to be feared. Change can be good. So this can simply be like first day of school. This can be first day moving in with someone. It can be a change of fortune. So good things can happen with death, but typically it also contains a release element. So in order for the good to come through, you have to let go of something. You have to release something or embrace a new version of yourself. So if you can just move past the discomfort of the release and hold space and belief that there'll be an upgrade, I saw that sort of hand of spirit lifting you up. So an ace, even though I saw it took me a little bit later to see the Ace of Cups. That's kind of like an Ace of Cups. Open your heart, open your mind. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge on Wednesday. If there's something that you need to stop, if there's something you need to deal with or you want to resolve, that's the day as well. All right, taking a look here at the energy for Thursday. Now we have another ace, the Ace of Pentacles. So this is a great day to put your energy into a project, I would say also your money, personal development, anything with respect to resources. It also is like planting a seed. So it doesn't have to come to fruition this day. It can simply be the intention, communication, or commencement of something new. The beginning, the first step. So maybe it didn't naturally happen on Tuesday, but by Thursday it will. Something had to leave, you had to change, you had to lean into it. By the time Thursday comes around, things are good. One thing to look at, this is a beautiful illustration for the Ace card. There are good years, there are challenging years, there are also sort of like blessings where it's more than you imagine. Whenever you look at the rings of a tree, you can trace kind of like history basically. So when there's a big gap between them, there's been a lot of food, a lot of water, a lot of good stuff. Sometimes you can see where there's a fire because there'll be sort of like scarring. So this is basically saying it's the culmination of all the years together that basically are sort of like connected to success. So if you're in a challenging moment right now, it's how you navigate it and how you survive it. And then maybe imagine that the next step is going to be a lot better. There'll be a lot more abundance, okay? Focusing on end of week, it's an opportunity to figure out what you want. Decision time, which was one of the, I think that was the title for Libra this upcoming month in October. But it's interesting that this is reversed. So we have, actually this is the 8 of Cups, right? So 5, 6, 7, no, 7 of Cups, good. All right, so yeah, 7 of Cups is typically someone looking up into the clouds and wondering, what am I gonna do? I'll pull the traditional card while we're talking. so it's not distracting. I'll just chat about it for a second. But there comes a point where, like, too much brainstorming, too much research rather, can kind of get in the way of you being able to move forward. So what you want to sort of lean into on Friday is really what feels most exciting or what you feel most connected to. Here's your traditional one, a little easier to see. So we have someone standing in front of all of these cups. Some of the options are good, some of them are a little bit intimidating, and the person has to sort it out for themselves. What I'm getting from some of you is that this could be like the first time in a while that you've had to make a decision on your own. This could be the first time in a while that someone's pushed you to just stand up for something, but you're going to be okay. And eventually one of them, and it's cool that you actually can see that. You have to say, I don't want that, this isn't good. Knowing what you don't want is just as important, because eventually one of those cups is going to be the one that's easiest to look at. So this accurately shows what it's like to make a decision. It's saying these are not as favorable as this. So you have to kind of land on a decision. And again, searching your feelings, and basically just taking a leap of faith. That's really what this is about. You may have a hard time concentrating or focusing. Might be important or useful to change the environment, take a break, have some fun, channeling in that dolphin energy. All of those things will be advantageous. Let's look at next weekend. As we take a look at next Saturday, we have the daughter, which is a page in this deck of wands, and it's reversed. So we have a symbol of power here. And for some of you, you may be asked to stand your ground. Typically, court cards in the suit of wands, when reversed, are closed off, stubborn, or resistant to change. Could be someone in your life that's being that way, could be you. Because this is typically about delivering a message, don't be afraid to stand up for what you want. If you're trying to receive a message, it could be overly critical, not too constructive. It may challenge your belief system. So what you want to do is say, I will consider that. Don't cast judgment on it. Just say, I hear your feedback. I need to think about it. And that's a fair way to buy yourself some time if you need to, because it doesn't appear very open as I'm looking at this. So I think it's important to get to a place where there's more neutrality. So just listen and decide, sleep on it, decide what you want to do. When I recently had to make a new purchase to upgrade my bed. And as I was looking at stuff, I was like, I got to literally sleep on the decision, because I'll be sleeping on it for a long time. So that's what I did. I was like, which one do I want? How much do I want to spend? What do I want to do? So if there's an important decision, you have to consider it. Okay. Now let's take a look at a week from today, next Sunday. And we have a really cool version of the Nine of Wands here. So the card is in reverse, but the Nine of Wands is a card of perseverance, standing up for what matters. And in this one, you can see just how far you came to get to this point. And it makes no sense to go backward. And so this is really an encouragement to finish, to push through. You can take a mini break if you need to. You can take care of yourself, because sometimes you're a little worse for the wear with the Nine of Wands, right? But this card doesn't give up. He's standing in front of all of that. He's protecting it, and he's just looking and thinking, all right, let's make this happen. Are we done yet? So it's a day to push through a little bit. I would start the day off with self-care. Make sure that you've gotten ample sleep. You're eating well. You're taking care of yourself, and know that you'll have what it takes to make things happen. Okay. So we're going to now move on to the elemental forecast. And the elemental forecast, I think I went to the monthly one instead of collective. We're going to do the elemental forecast, which is basically, this is the only specific piece looking at all 12 signs. So welcome everybody. Let me move to a different deck for this. I'm trying to use all animal totems, or decks that feature some animals in them. Okay, since we had a dolphin for the main topic. Okay, I'll honor it. Fire, earth, air, water. Okay, So let's begin with fire. There are two in this one. So your first is actually quite nice, fire. We have the Ten of Wands, and this Ten of Wands is actually coming through a difficult period. So you remember we got death midweek. So we even see almost a very similar looking skull here. So from that release comes abundance. And this is a period during which you may see even more growth than you have in the past. So just know there is something really good on the horizon. Wednesday is a pivotal day in believing that something better, the best is yet to come. That's really kind of like your mantra for the week ahead. Even though it's Ten of Wands, it reads very much Ten of Pentacles, but Ten of Wands is also the completion of this one, right? So this is saying, I'm going to take that final step. So all of my fire signs, you have what it takes this week to reach the doorway at the top of the stairs. You have to let go of something, and then you have to really focus on believing that there is a growth opportunity and even like a higher reason that you've been through all the challenges. The thing that is underneath this is the details. Eight of Pentacles. Also, this is really making sure that you've learned everything that you can. So we also got for today, connecting it to the Hanged Man. This is basically saying, if I've learned my lesson, I don't have to repeat it. Twice you were asked during the week to slow down. So once is today, and then again on Tuesday with Temperance in reverse. So those are the 2 days that you really want to focus on making sure that you haven't missed something. And typically with the Eight of Pentacles, it's totally worth the time, the energy, and sort of like any sort of delay that will cause, because it's going to make sure that it's just to spec, picture perfect. It's like hanging a picture, actually. My dad was always meticulous about this. He would get out tape. I'm kind of the same way now, but you measure everything. He would get his whatever that thing is to basically make sure it was balanced and all of that, and then the nail was the last thing to go into the wall. Some people eye it. He was very kind of like calculated about it, but then it looked great. So do your work first, then get the hammer and the nail out, okay? Let's move on from fire. Again, this was for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It's a pretty good week for you, Earth. You may be asked to be kind of coming out of your shell a little bit. Six of Cups in reverse. Friends, family, colleagues could be knocking on the door, picking up the phone, texting you, asking you to hang out and have some fun. Oh, we have our friend there, the crow or the raven. One of the things here is that some of you, I think you're going to have to figure out the balance between self-care, downtime, and some of these social events, because they do look favorable to me. There could be a friend or love interest from the past that is passing through town or reconnecting with you. This is a chance to basically clear the air or be there for them, or even out the exchange. If you guys were, if you helped them in the past or they helped you, it's sort of a chance for things to kind of get evened out. There could be love, of course, coming in. Six of Cups is a very deep energy when it comes to relationships. It has that sort of instantaneous, like you feel like friend or you feel like family energy. So definitely, I was talking about the dolphin sleeping with one eye open. This is a chance to keep your eyes open and not sleep on that possibility for love. And of course, the Ace of Cups came through. So all of my earth signs are very connected here this week, in particular to love, to relationships. So again, that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Moving from earth to air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's a great week for you. We have the Magician in the upright position. It's basically like the fairy princess here, or the, what is it, the godmother from Cinderella. This is like a wish coming through to fruition. And this is why all my air signs, I really want you to focus on expecting, preparing, and setting the stage for something better. It may not be here today, it may not be here tomorrow, but it's coming. And the Magician card is reminding you to work your magic, to focus on what it is that you want, and to make it happen. Now, we can see the little mice here from the Cinderella story. Mice are important when it comes to totems. They remind us not to miss a detail, particularly with finances. They remind us not to overspend. to firm things up. Mice usually get in through cracks in the foundation or under a door. So it's basically saying make sure everything is solid, particularly when it comes to your business dealings and your money this week. You don't really want to see a mouse pop up in a business dealing. That usually is a contractual detail that needs to be ironed out. So be mindful of those sorts of things. But the really beautiful shining piece of this is there's something beautiful on the horizon. As long as you continue to show up, believe in yourself, keep your eyes open, and expect the best, and expect to receive the best. It is important to do that because fear attracts fear, anxiety and anger and all this other stuff. It just basically pushes off the good stuff that's on the horizon. So pretty good week ahead for you. This is a good time to start something new, to partner up, to meditate, basically just to work and get stuff done, okay? You'll be surprised at how quickly you can manifest this week. Moving from my air signs to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The Nine of Cups is a pretty joyful card. It's reminding you to celebrate, enjoy this moment. It can also be one of extremes. So one thing that all of my water signs should be focusing on this week is not letting one thing either go to your head or kind of deflate you. So it's basically like a reality check card when it comes through. So make sure that you are taking a deep breath, staying grounded, and that you're just practicing gratitude at the end of the day for the good stuff coming through. Whenever 3 and 9 of Cups come through, you should also have fun and celebrate. Just avoid extremes is what I would say this week, okay? By and large, a pretty good week for all of the signs because we see movement and development, and there's really not that many tricky pieces to that. So yay for that. All right, we're gonna move now into the special topic. So this is, again, for everybody present. The special topic this week is the Dolphin, and the Dolphin's here to teach us to create some joy in our lives. So let me just put the cards to the side here, and we're going to get started with, I decided to use the Wildwood Tarot because I thought the other one that I was using had a few more animal totems in that than it did, but this one is definitely all animal totems. So, creating joy. One of the things as we focus on creating joy might be where we're denying ourselves or where there's blocks. So it's also going to help me see where you need to focus on releasing some stuff. 6 of Cups coming through again. I just read that for some of you. Some beautiful cards today. Beautiful colors. It's always nice to see. All right, let me take a quick drink and then we're going to get started. Okay, let's begin with the catalyst energy first and foremost. And the catalyst today is reversed, but it says basically partnerships and alliances. So this is a reminder to stay open, perhaps too unexpected, or and maybe even just not unexpected, but something that could even require you to have to reach out, a little bit of effort on your part. But partnerships and engagements that come more easily or more difficultly than expected. So don't expect something to land in your lap. Be open to all the other alternatives, and don't be afraid to ask for help. So I felt spirit pulling you up, but there's no reason that you couldn't say, could I get some assistance here? I felt that lift in energy last night. So this is a great time to accept help, to ask for help, to reach out for something that's a little bit difficult, like a stretch goal. And also, if something does come through and it wasn't exactly, the way you had envisioned it originally, that doesn't mean that it's not entirely perfect for you in this moment in time. Okay? Let's look at the cards and see what's coming through. Just to kind of quickly get a feel for everything, I love some of the stuff that I'm seeing here. 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, 6 of Wands. Like, those are prime cards. 8 of Wands as well. The World. This is a good spread. So there's really, I feel like for whatever reason, we all went through a lot in the, I'll speak for myself anyway. The Mercury and multiple planetary retrograde that we've been experiencing over the past month has been intense. It's starting to ease. The seasonal shift, you can already see it. It's a little bit moodier here in Los Angeles, and it will be for a week. The weather's overcast. It's been kind of like misty and rainy. So we see a shift. It's coming in the environment. It's also coming in the planets, and it's also coming within. And I can see it in the cards too. All right. As we take a look at your first message, it's important to have a little bit of fun here. This is the inner child wanting to come out and play. So I think we have otters on the side there. But anyway, just like dolphins or just like children that would be in the normal 6 of Cups, it's important to have fun with peers, with children in your life, with family members, whoever it is that brings out the inner child that makes you giggle, that would get you in trouble in the past because you couldn't keep a straight face. I would love for you to connect with those sort of joyous people in your life. If you're a little bit more of an introvert, find those extroverts, have a good time. It will be time, energy, and resources well spent. Some of you are also choosing in your work-life balance to have more fun or put more energy into developing or attracting new relationships as well. So this is just an affirmation of all of that, okay? And the more you put into those relationships, the more balanced you'll be. This is also just about having fun. Your joy, your passion, that new sort of energy that you're putting out into the world attracts other people who are happy too. So work on creating the joy. This is ultimately the main magnet this month, whether it's 6 of Cups, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, lovers. The reason these cards work is because people that are having a good time, you want to go join that, right? So this is your chance to just get into that energy with or without someone. And if people judge you, then again, they're probably just not happy, or they wish they could be a part of it. So you can also practice being more inclusive when people seem to kind of be having a hard time with things. But ultimately, just focus on joy in your life. It's perfectly connected to what we had. Here's what's going to help you with that, and this is why you all tuned in today. So we have the Page of Swords coming through, and little tiny wren here, and some of you might have to be the bird that goes out there and asks, hey, do you want to hang out? Or, hey, what if we were to schedule this meeting or this, event? So this can be an invitation. This can be a conversation. You're initiating it. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be something small. Everything begins with something small, a thought, a word, an action, but it starts to take on momentum, okay? So somehow speaking it into being is going to be really, really important. Speaking into being what you desire, because hopefully in your heart and soul, what creates joy. So this is saying, well, what are you going to do about it? Who are you going to talk to? What's your first step? Swords can be both thoughts and actions. Really speech and action. So think about how you're going to speak it into being and move it into being. I think many of you have done a lot of work when it comes to This can constitute finances, education. Literally, it can be your home, as we see here, creating a firm foundation in your life. And for many of you, you've been that rock for other people. Allow others now to be that rock for you. And we can see the two different people here on this card. Usually you would see like a couple. They're in the stone there. So your solid nature is going to call in someone else who's done the exact same work, has the same sort of solid as a rock energy. So don't feel like you have to be that for someone else. Let someone else come in and mirror the sort of work you've done on yourself. Like attracts like. So keep doing what you're doing, but also know that you don't have to always do it for everybody. There may be an increased focus on creating some joy in your home. So that's one thing that I worked on. And, it's been a year to the date where I had like an injury. Last year there was a lot of kind of change and transition. So I finally thought, well, let's just settle a bit. So sometimes it's good, like whether it's your office, a relationship, your home, and you're just sort of like, okay, we're good now. And when you decide that, then you create more of the same in your life. So it could just simply be like, I recently bought a bed, or buying a plant, or cleaning out your closets because there's a lot of stuff that you don't need in there. Anything you want to do to make the home space better. King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles energy also has that same message, but literally this had home on it. So feel more at home in your life, and wherever you have activities or things where you feel more yourself, that's also what you want to focus on. And know this, there's something new coming through. So this is the portal. If you sold a home, if you exited a job, if you've left a relationship, if you're saying, hey, Nicholas, but everything's changing, good, that's life. There's another portal, something better is on the horizon. Very few of us live in one home our entire lives. We have to keep moving. You have many homes. Home is where the heart is. And I see one of the keys this month is people. So I really feel like home is your tribe as well, your spiritual tribe. All right, we've got the Three of Cups in reverse in the recent past. This is the unlikely social butterfly, okay? And so for many of you, there could be, again, this sort of like nudge from spirit to say yes to an invitation. Some of you are tired of dating, and this isn't just about dating. This is about building your social network. So make sure that you, at all ages and at all stages, continue to get out there. We talked about this with the dolphin. It's a social animal. We are social beings as well. I like my space. There are some days where I just need to be with just Apollo and relaxing with a book or something, but there are other days where it's really good to connect. Find the balance in your life, okay? If there's a clique or an exclusive group that will not allow you to be a part of it, their loss. And your gain in that you know that that's a waste of time. So step away from cliques or sort of like, popular groups that won't let other people in. Focus on inclusive energy. Try to bring people into your life and be loving and supporting, especially if they're not, if they're marginalized or not supported or being pushed out of other groups. So it's just a reminder, we're not going to do that. Avoid gossipy people, cliquey people, or people that are trying to spread rumors. It's just not worth it. There could be an old flame in your life, by the way, because we have the Six of Cups and the Three of Cups. It could be in an inconvenient time. They could be swooping in because you've actually found something stable. This can represent marriage or a really solid relationship, and the grass is always greener for this person. Don't let the foundation of something solid be pushed away by someone who's just a fair weather friend, okay? So be mindful of that. In the crowning position, we have the Eight of Wands. This is one of the best Eight of Wands because you never see the people that are throwing all the wands up in the air. Here you get to see them. It's a team effort, and that's what this is reminding you. And it's also hearth fire, so this is a chance to really celebrate the joint progress that you've all made in your lives, whether it's a team of two, like your partnership, whether it's a work gathering, a family gathering. There is power in numbers. Each one of you brings your own special gift to the stage, and this is a chance to say thanks and I see you, okay? And if you need help, you may be able to do more together. In the reverse, this can mean I feel lost in the crowd. And I saw that sort of chromatic blending in that some, but not all species of octopus can do. It's weird to make that plural. But anyway, that species has the ability to basically change the texture of their skin and blend in with the rocks. And so I kind of felt like there was wallflower energy coming through this morning, and Spirit was like, no, not right now. There's a time to be a wallflower. There's a time to kind of step out into the light, and this is a time to do that. So find someone that you feel comfortable with and try to step out and be a little bit more social. There's more to life than work. And being busy doesn't mean that you're doing better. So it's about the quality of the things that you're working and not the quantity. So I've talked about this before. You can take a couple steps back, and we see it here. If you do less but do it better, then you have success and abundance. So let some other people do some stuff. You focus on what you need to. We still see the fire in both of these. Between that, we have this. It's nice, 8, 7, 6. So this is your delegation, and actually in this deck, it even says clearance. So it's kind of like going to a clearance sale. What someone else doesn't want, someone else will. So if you don't want to do something, maybe there is someone else that wants to. If you're ready to move on, trust me, there'll be another energy that will step into that. This is also, with the reversal of this, it's basically saying, I don't have to prove myself anymore to you. I don't have to defend myself anymore to you. That comes with age and wisdom. I'm definitely at that point where I don't feel like I have to, if people don't like what they see, it's sort of like take it or leave it. So there's a joy and a comfort that comes with that, and it's a lot less exhausting to try to not to have to be right all the time, not to have to convince someone. I'm pulling the traditional card as we're talking here, but here we go. Look at how much effort and energy this guy has to put into that, and look at his face. He's like, when is this going to end? Exactly. When is this going to end? Let it go. Also in this card, you can see how you can always create more abundance or opportunity. You don't need that person in your life that's creating a headache. It could ostensibly be this sort of gossipy person here that's coming in and trying to, so just, you're gonna step back from that, all right? The way to create joy this month, right now, on a diagonal, is to do less, but do it better. And now we're at you, how you're coming up. You're coming up with the energy of abundance, but more traditionally with this card, success. What's cool about this one is that the people haven't shown up yet. It's very Four of Wands, where you create the stage for something else. I was talking to a friend the other day about that. Just like you set a table for dinner or breakfast or whatever before your friends or family arrive, you're setting the table right now. You're setting the stage for something spectacular. Keep setting the stage. And keep focusing on holding space for more, because you never know what the universe can deliver. So all of this are greater, and continue to focus on the positivity. Success is subjective. I'll say it almost every time I pull the card. So what makes you happy? What makes you sleep well at night? What fulfills your goals, dreams, and desires? That's success. It's not the amount of zeros following a currency symbol that's in your bank account, okay? It's more than that, because you don't take the money with you. That's it. I mean, it's a really good card to come through. You're already emanating success. The key to get to the next level could simply be accepting a helping hand, or reaching for something a little bit more out of your comfort zone than you might imagine, but you know. The environment's changing. People are changing around you, or the environment's changing. We have the world, or the world tree in this particular deck, and it's in the reverse state. We have a change of season on the horizon here within the next week. And this is aptly sort of selected for this period of time. What's cool though, is when this world card is upright, we see what looks like a labyrinth or a maze in front of the tree. I feel like many of you are no longer in that puzzlement or that sort of feeling of like I'm going in circles energy. Now it's saying, let's just focus on going through the door. Let's focus on the abundance. As I said with the Six of Wands, what the world looks like to you also depends on the season that you're in your life, not just on the planet Earth. So sometimes we could look at this tree and it looks like it's dead or dying. It's just going dormant. And then other times it's just coming to life or it's abundant. So you have the ability to replenish, restart, or revivify if you want to choose a fancy word. But basically you can bring abundance back into something. And how does that happen? A big change, a positive change. The World card in reverse is basically saying, this is you deciding to, it's kind of like renovations on some levels without the tower, but I'm going to pull the rug up myself. I'm going to step out the door. I'm going to book the flight. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to shake things up because I know that this is what will create expansion. And it's like you're just stepping through from one place of abundance to another place of abundance. So if you need to move or take a transfer for a job, or if you're looking at moving in with someone or moving out away from someone because it isn't what you want, whatever you're doing, it feels like the direction in which you're headed is accurate. So today, since many of you are joining me live, embrace the energy of the Hanged Man, which we pulled for Sunday, and just kind of look and see what's on the horizon rather than worrying. And then also decide to kind of like paint the landscape a little bit. And what do you want your world tree to look like? Imagine that there are no leaves on it. What is it going to be like? But anyway, this is normally a 1 to 2 year process. And based on everything that we see, there's a lot of abundance coming through. Give yourself time. It takes time to change. It takes time to put those roots down and let the dust settle. What do you need to do right now? Hopes, fears, and opportunities. Take a break. Don't be afraid to take a break, folks. You'll be happier by doing that. So we have this beautiful butterfly or moth actually on this Four of Swords card, and we can see the importance of rest. For me, I need a certain amount of sleep or I can't do my readings. I would just be talking but not knowing what I'm saying. I remember when I was a student in college, there would sometimes be times where I would try to pull an all-nighter or whatever. I would be garbage for the test the next day. It was just rubbish. Nothing was coming out. Or if you wrote something, because I did a lot of like journalism in English, I would go back later and like those sentences, I missed prepositions, I misspelled that. That's not like me. What's going on? I needed to sleep. So sometimes you push yourself past the place of productivity. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Save yourself time. Now I just go to sleep. I'm like, I'll get up earlier, or I'll just push this a little bit later. It'll be better. Do quality. Don't just force things. Speaking of quantity, it's quality and quantity here. So if you're having trouble sleeping, talk to a professional about that. There's so many different things from your body to your emotions to your mind to what you're sleeping on to what's going on externally, like so many things that can affect that. Far beyond what I can read here in tarot, but you need to just focus on establishing whatever's necessary to get rested in your life, okay? And it's okay to do nothing once in a while. So take a day where you're just, because you're not, that's inaccurate. It's not that you're doing nothing, it's that you're allowing yourself to integrate, to recalibrate, and also to rejuvenate. And so being still isn't doing nothing. Final card, not the final card, but the outcome card here in this spread is reclamation of power. And also realizing that whether it's your parent or your boss or a bossy friend, it's your life, not theirs. So do what you need to do what you want to do, stand up for what's important to you, and push off any of that sort of bossy energy. It's also a reminder for you, because we're looking at what creates joy in your life as well, to give assistance if it's wanted, when it's wanted, not just because. Sometimes people don't want to hear it. Wait until they're ready to hear it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and your energy, and it's valuable, right? Let's expand this a little bit further to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And this is going to allow us to basically see what else is going on in your life. We're going to begin with the health card, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And in the oracle card for this, we have make the grade with flying colors. Remember, you signed up for this. That latter piece is really kind of pivotal and important here. So on a soul level, all of the pivotal milestones in our life, we did sign up for. Sort of like I wanted to experience this joy or this setback or this pain so that on a soul level, I could learn. Maybe it was learning empathy. Maybe it was learning resilience. Maybe it was learning to have fun. Whatever it was, I signed up for it. And because I signed up for it, I'll pass no matter what, because I knew my limits and my capacity. So your mantra in this moment, if you're feeling challenged, is, I've got this. I don't know how or why, but I've got this. And when you start to believe that you've got this, you will indeed see a way through, whether it's reaching out and getting the expertise or support that you need, or whether it's simply deciding to let go of some stuff and focus on what matters. Whatever, you're going to sort it out. But the main thing here is to believe in yourself. It's not just self-confidence. That's different. This is more belief in your capacity to flourish, to pass with flying colors, okay? And again, when life review is a lot different than taking a sort of like qualifying exam for college, or, you know, your, whatever it's called in school, your finals or whatever, because you're judging your own progress and it's more nuanced. And as long as there's no like time or deadline, it's more just sort of like, did I learn everything that I needed to? And if I did, then I did everything that I was supposed to do. A+. It's a lot more forgiving than traditional school. You don't have to do it in like 6 months or 3 weeks or whatever. Just do it right out of the gate. the first time, I would say, basically do it right in this lifetime so you don't have to repeat it. Okay, now let's just focus on general cards with respect to health. We already talked about this. Please focus on sleep quality and quantity. Delegation is key. You don't have to do it all. Let someone else do it. You don't have to hold up the fort for everybody. You don't have to cover for people. Focus on what you need to do. Increased invitation and focus on love with the 3 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. And this is also saying, if we just read these as like the highest versions of themselves, this is that sort of joyous reunion. It literally says reunion, and this is joy. So have some fun and don't, you can't see it, but yeah, joy. So this is why we signed up for today here. So joy and reunion. Have fun in the courtship. Have fun in the day-to-day. Don't rush to the finish line. When we were, well, hopefully it's changing now, but in the past, there was always a pressure to, you know, go to school, get a certain sort of degree or specialization, get married, have a family, do all of this in that order, get a dog, have some kids. Like, yes for some, no for some. No timelines or deadlines are necessary on this. Doing it does not constitute happiness. What this is saying is, why not just have some fun where you're at in the moment? And for some of you, this is just, if it's something new, enjoy the dance. Enjoy the dance of courtship, and enjoy the moment and drink it in. Don't rush to these things that we've set up for ourselves that may or may not last, that may or may not amplify our happiness. Let them happen like cherries on top of something that, you know, is already good, okay? So that's one thing that I'm picking up on here, is just to enjoy the people around you and enjoy where you're at, and don't compare. And if someone's comparing or judging you because you don't have what they have or what they want you to have, with kindness, tell them to mind their own business. All right, let me see if there's anything else here. Again, a move could be very advantageous right now for your general health, well-being, and even abundance. So if you need to move, move. Take your time, don't rush. Take it from someone who's rushed to move. It's not good. Take your time, rest. Don't do a last-minute trip. It's not worth it. Ultimately, I do see success and things coming in. We just don't see everybody there yet. That doesn't mean that everyone isn't going to show up, okay? That's pretty much it for health, and it's pretty manageable. So let's move on to wealth. Wealth is your resources, life purpose, and career. So some of you feel like you have to swim against the grain of the water, the undercurrent or the tow or whatever. So this is really saying you have the power, you have the strength, you have the ability to go against the current or go against the grain. There does come a point where you shouldn't have to do it all the time. Let's say that. I think that sometimes we have to pluck ourselves or extract ourselves out of a situation. I did that when I was on a path that wasn't happy for me, the corporate path. And so I was like, okay, it's kind of like a really big ship, like a cruise liner or something. You don't just turn the wheel once, you turn it a few times, and you turn it way in advance of when you need to move. And then you have to give it time, and you don't want to do it too fast. So taking a big moving ship with lots of pieces could take a little bit more initial effort, but it shouldn't be continually that way, okay? So I feel like for many of you, it's cranking the wheel. This is what this card is about. And then seeing if that was enough, and if not, cranking it a little bit more. And so there might be moments of that, but then ultimately, we can't live our entire life going against the grain. There has to be moments where there's some support. So there already was support. I felt what we see here in this card, someone pulling me up. I see it here in the Eight of Wands in the community energy. I see an invitation for more in the Six of Wands. But there's an initial pivot or push or pull that some of you are making right now, and this card is validating that. Now let's take a look at this from a different perspective. I want to see what's going on with those of you that are early career, like students, mid-career, or retired. I try to look at all aspects. Okay. Thank you. All right, for those of you that are just starting out, I think the most important thing for many of you is the community and the sort of effect that this trajectory of your life is going to have on people. So Six of Cups and this particular Eight of Wands are very community based. This against the grain thing for many of you could be social justice, could be politics, could be changing the status quo. And the Three of Cups in reverse is the old group that doesn't want to let go. Same thing with this one, the Green Man in reverse. There's people here holding on to the past, and you're kind of like pushing forward for the future. So I think that this is an important thing to do right now. And when I'm looking at this particular future card here too, or not this future card, but this potential card here, again, realizing that there are other people that have the same energy as you and the same vision as you is going to be key. So you might be creating some sort of an organization that matters here. So I don't really see, I'm not seeing a traditional school path for some of you. It even feels like this could be grassroots energy, very people oriented, very sort of, yeah, this is creating something that hasn't existed before, and that's why it's against the grain. Counter to existing systems, even the education system. So yeah, good for you. If you're in a traditional path, one thing that's important here again is to make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin in any sort of like taking too many credit hours or too many classes on too much work, because you're not going to be able to enjoy the experience. Okay, let's move on to people that are mid-career that are working. Definitely it's important to seek out a mentor, to mentor others, to ask for help, to be able to receive help when it comes, because you'll be able to be more successful through that assistance, okay? With respect to other things to focus on, again, you don't have to sort of like defend yourself or your path to anybody. Some of you are on a very sort of transformational or counter to the, yeah, basically it is just going to be different, and that's okay, because each generation brings in its own job. Like when I was a kid, you know, multimedia, it would have been more like TV. TV was something new. And the, can we hold questions for just a second? So TV was something new, and now it's the internet, and now it's AI. There's always going to be something brand new around the horizon. So I think the key thing here to focus on is just because it's new to the old guard doesn't mean that it's not good, doesn't mean that it can't be something great. So just to address what's going on in chat, refresh your browser. If it's blurry, it's not blurry here. And the green man is the emperor, or the empress for the green woman. So it's just a different, the number 4 on that is connected with that. It's an authority card. So some of you are basically pushing back against the old guard, reclaiming power. And again, that was why there was a warning with this particular card. Whether it's the king or the queen of wands or the emperor or the empress in reverse, it's saying you might be spending too much of your time trying to control others or vice versa, okay? To that end, there could be also a glass ceiling where some of you are at, and there is a gatekeeper that is having a difficult time letting you go to the next level. So if that's the case, then it's time to move up, to move on. This can also be being bored, disconnected, or busy and bored, which is not a great combination, in which case it's time to step out and do more, okay? Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it on that. One thing that I just remembered for both health and for career, if you take on too much, it's not good. This is like lifting too much weight or taking on too much on your schedule. There'll be a breakdown, breakthrough, kind of like a difficult moment if that happens. So push back on unrealistic expectations. For those that are retired, you want to travel and have some fun. It's really easy here. So this is travel, and this is literally rest and recreation. And maybe you want to do something on your own for yourself, being your own boss. Doesn't mean that you've stopped working completely. It means that you might just be very picky about who you work with, how often you work with them, why you're working with them, etc. I do also see like mentor or teaching energy coming through as well. Okay, let's take a look now at love. And we got the elephant here on this one. For some of you, this could also be the elephant in the room, but let me just pull this card up. Okay, the card came through in the reverse state. Ultimately, in this particular card, they signified greatness with this, or this is synonymous with greatness. This can also be Lord Ganesha helping you move through any sort of difficulties. So I'll pull it close so we can read it together. Love is your strength, leadership is your path. Okay, let's just focus on those two for a moment. Being able to lead with the heart definitely is a sign of good leadership. And leadership isn't always about owning a company or working somewhere. It can be just about leading your friends or, you know, leading a change in the larger world. So find where your passion is, and that's where your strength will be. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. Never underestimate how far you've come and how many lifetimes and how hard you work to get to this point in time. You can overcome any problem. I put that in the channel messages. You will naturally and easily achieve success. That also came through in a different oracle card here. So you'll make the grade with flying colors. Okay, elephants are actually super intelligent and kind of playful too, but they're hard to avoid. And that's why the phrase, everyone's avoiding the elephant in the room, it's sort of like, do you not see what I see? So this card is reversed. You can't ignore something big anymore, whether it's feelings of love, feelings of anger, discussion point that's just been slid underneath the rug, and it's like, we really need to talk about this. We agreed to talk about this. So you're going to address the elephant in the room this month. Let's see what it might be as we take a look at the cards. All right, we're going to focus on also 3 different levels of relationship status here, starting with those that are already in a relationship, and then we'll look at the other ones. So if you're already in a loving relationship, or if you're just thinking about someone a lot, we're going to focus on that first. As I'm looking at what the elephant in the room could be, for some of you, it is this feeling of not fitting in. If it's not a third party, the 3 of Cups in reverse can, like I said, be an exclusive thing, or the other person's really much more social. They have a bigger network, you feel left out, or they feel left out. So being more inclusive. In a loving relationship, the Three of Cups reverse can also just be missing that spark, the joy, the sort of thrill of how it was when you first met. So this can be about sparking that with a conversation, having a little bit of fun. If you have children, it might be scheduling a date night, basically getting a sitter and spending some time together. If you've been together for a long time in your life, it could be more like something like travel. If you're not focused as much on the romantic piece, but more on the camaraderie, then it could be travel, and just learning to be at peace with one another, with all that you have to offer. But it feels like there's something missing in the relationship, camaraderie or passion. And this is a month where you could focus on stoking those sort of embers a bit. One thing you want to avoid is defensive conversation, putting someone else on the defensive or going on the defensive yourself. If someone kind of catches you off guard, you can say, this feels really, this is making me emotional right now and I need to be in a calm space. Can we take a deep breath? And I hear what you're saying, but this isn't helpful. This isn't constructive. It may or may not work, but at least state how it's making you feel rather than just sort of like going to a place where you feel like you have to defend yourself. Just say, this isn't the right time. I want to talk, but this isn't it. This isn't the right way. I think the other thing here is if things have run their course, and it happens sometimes, that's the elephant in the room. And there has to be a decision. Are we going to put in the work or are we good? And for each of you, that's going to be a different conversation. The main thing here is the Emperor in reverse. You can't be the one that's doing it all and pushing and forcing and asking for everything. So it should be easier. And the main thing that you want to start it off with is heart-centric. I want this to work. I believe in you. You're my best friend, etc. But this is something that needs to be addressed. Are you on board? It's more of a question. There's no fingers being pointed. Are you going to do the work with me? And if they're not going to do the work with you, then you tried, right? But it's okay. Things come to a close sometimes. And so you'll be fine. One thing that we kept seeing here is that you're going to get through all of these things a-okay. Most of you are going to be a-okay without having to even go there. This is more just about like having a date night or having some communication. But I am acknowledging here that some of you you're on to the next thing, because this is a death and rebirth card too, and this is moving into other things. Some of you may already have started dating. So I get it. There are new things on the horizon. If you now, speaking of this, let's transition to the new thing, single and looking. If you're single and looking, the important thing is to also look at attachments here. The Three of Cups, I'm getting a sense of an attachment to an ex or to someone else, so make sure that the person is truly detached, truly available, and make sure the same is true for you, because we have the reunion and we have this card, and this is the past and this is the present. So something from the past relationship patterns, or may just be a person from the past coming through. This card is about having a conversation. Talk to your partner about their last relationship. Talk about your own. Sort out your feelings. Feel if you're like really ready for something new. Don't force the progress. Just take it easy and enjoy the courtship phase of it. Some of you may have just gotten out of a big marriage or moment in your life, and so it takes time to rebound as well. If you're single and happy, it's a great time to be single and happy. Travel is the main thing that's coming through, and also like launching things or expanding things, because that's in your environment, and networking. So I see a lot of people more in a professional, more in a sort of social phase here, but I think the main thing for you too is not to get too involved in activities or things of that nature, because you might get fatigued as well. Okay, let's move on to your destiny card. So I definitely felt this energy last night. You are protected, Archangel Michael. So if you need help, ask for help. There's help in everyday people in your life. There's also help in the angelic realm, or archangelic realm in particular. So reach out, ask for help if you need it. And this is also about standing up for what matters in your life. So whether it's, there's something that you need to pursue legally, if there's something that you need to do to create more of sort of line in the sand and say this is enough or whatever. You are entitled to create those boundaries, healthy boundaries in your life. Okay. Let's take a moment and just review this from the larger context of joy. So one thing that I would say here that you really want to be focusing on here is knowing that you have limits. We just talked about that. Observing the limits and pushing back on things that don't make sense. One of the conduits to joy this month is people. So we have a lot of people cards coming through. And I would say for you, being picky and discerning in who you connect with. Again, there is a general message here that it isn't necessarily about more, or it isn't about popular, it's about quality and what really feels good to you. There's no rush to do anything, and it's okay to hold some space. We saw a couple of days this week where, in fact, that's the advantage and what you should be focusing on. Let's go ahead now and look at a big idea. So what's the one thing that you can do this month to create more joy? Or if the card is a challenging card, what is the thing that's blocking that joy? We have it's a different Four of Cups. We have the Four of Cups. I mentioned the sort of, the Dolphin with one eye open, one eye shut, so that they don't miss something. This person is missing out because they're a little bored. I think we've all been there with something in our life. I don't mean to laugh, but it's a kind of, the illustration made me giggle. All right, so boredom is actually a very useful thing. It shows you that you've overstayed the lesson, if you will, the lesson plan. So it would be like repeating the same grade 5 times. There comes a point where it's like, I can't learn this one more time. So sometimes more often than not, this comes through in jobs, right? You go to work and you think, it's kind of like that cartoon where they put the toothpicks to keep their eyelids up. How am I going to stay awake? How am I going to get to 5 o'clock? I hope that you never have to do that on a consistent basis. But if you find yourself there, it's about figuring out what you can do over the next year or two to crank the wheel of the ship, go against the grain, and go in a different direction. You don't have to change it today, but soon. In a relationship, the same thing. There should never be boredom. Boredom is showing that there's a lack of progress, that you've basically learned everything, or there can be gratitude can be one thing to kind of pull you back into it, because there are certain things where you've accomplished all you can, and that's it in that area, and sometimes that has to be enough. But if everything's boring, it's kind of a wake-up call to shake up the environment or whatever it is that you're working on. Okay, so within reason, it's time to look for changes and places where you can expand. Now let's just look at a traditional Four of Cups, because that was a very specific message, and I want to go to the more traditional card, and then we'll go to the next portion of the reading. So typically Four of Cups is a hidden blessing, a missed opportunity. And for some of you, you may kind of clock out of something and say, there's nothing else here. Unless, of course, you were to reach out and ask or look in a different direction. 4 and 5 of Cups are both about looking in a different angle. Here's your traditional Four of Cups. So in this one, there is an ace. Literally, it's a Rider-Waite-Smith ace floating in the air in front of this person. He's a little disgruntled. He's not just bored. He's kind of like, I don't wanna. So you have to kind of move through the emotional phase that you might be in right now to see the blessing in disguise. So the blessing in disguise could be, it's going to be better to leave this than to stay. The blessing in disguise could be, if I speak up and say I need more, or I'm not, whatever it is, that someone will say, okay, let's do it. Are you ready? And it could happen faster because we had the dolphin as our symbol today. So dolphins move pretty quick. You can think yourself through this. You can move through this more quickly than you think, but you have to look around. There's something you're missing. A person, a place, a thing, an opportunity, an out, a doorway, a portal. There's a way through. And that's basically what I get with that. But just kind of looking at this one, life is too finite to be bored. So you should at least be interested, challenged. It's even better sometimes to be triggered than to be bored. So find a way to feel like there's butterflies in your life and that you're growing and changing and experiencing new things. All right, we're a little bit over now, so we're going to focus on the next portion of the reading, which is going to be your meditation. And I have one more card that I'll pull at the end, which is a final card. Prior to that, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor before we meditate. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button, the thumbs up if you're a longtime viewer, and thank you in advance for either of those things. All right, so now let's meditate. I think today what I'd like to focus on is the energy of water. So depending on your comfort level with it, you could just imagine that you're sitting by a stream, you're looking out at the ocean, maybe you even imagine yourself like a dolphin swimming through the ocean, but somehow connect to the blue water somewhere in your life. Close your eyes, if you will, as you're meditating on this water emblem, and I'd like you to focus on the sound of the water moving. And imagine at the very least that you could dip one toe into that body of water, and that you could feel the energy of water moving over your feet, just like the temperance angel. I'd like you to meditate using the water and allow it to either help ease the movement, the transition, or the next step, or reveal it to you. Especially if you're bored or stuck or frustrated, send it into the water, let it take that away. Sit now with an openness in your heart like an Ace of Cups, and allow now for something to come through, some clarity, some joy, and allow the joy to inform. What would make you happy? That's really the question here. And what's the next step to make that happen? Okay. Deep breath. Place both feet on dry land. Feel connected to the element of earth. Feel a sense now of movement going through your mind, body, and spirit. Know that the next step, even if you didn't see it in the meditation, will be revealed. It's important to keep an open heart and an open mind in the week ahead. Focus now, if you will, on a single question, one that I have not yet answered. And I'm going to pull a card and take a look at that final question and final card. Okay, we have Seven of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to just hold it upright for a moment so you can see it. This is a very unusual and beautiful version of it. Normally we would see a person in front of like a grapevine, waiting for it to grow, kind of a little bit disgruntled at the speed with which it's growing. And this is a lot easier to understand. So there is abundance in that traditional illustration, which basically is saying growth takes time, but it's also a card that you can connect to healing, and healing takes time. And often you need help from others to help facilitate the healing. So if you need help, do it. Ask for help. And that's something that I saw in spirit, a helping hand. We have the helping hand here. Every Rider-Waite-Smith Ace card has a helping hand attached to it, holding the pentacle, the cup, the sword, or the wand, if you look at them. And so this is a chance to reach or to offer the helping hand. Don't rush yourself. Don't overextend yourself in time, energy, or money. Don't rush healing. It takes time. And that's going to be one of the keys to not just health and happiness and joy, but also being able to sustain in the long run. That was something I should have pulled for myself a year ago when I rushed a move and injured myself. It was exactly a year to the date. So I don't rush anything like that anymore. That's a lesson that I learned really well. So take your time. It's worth it. And then it took time to heal, a better part of a year. So healing from a loss, adjusting to a change, healing from a surgery, or, you know, whether it's your mind, body, or spirit, it takes time for all of that to grow back. So give yourself the time and space that you need. Don't be afraid to reach out. 3 times in spirit, in this illustration here, and now in this illustration, we've seen a helping hand come through. So that's also a component to creating joy in your life. As I said earlier, if you like this, a simple like and subscribe helps. It lets me know that this is content that you enjoy. It helps others find it, because that's how the YouTube system works, you know? If you want to make sure that you never miss out on an upcoming video, do me a favor, follow me across social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, no extra characters, no extra letters. There's a lot of imposters on TikTok in particular, so you can use a link once I post it below, or on my, just go to my website so that you know for sure it's me, and you can get all of my social handles there. I don't offer private readings, by the way, so if anybody reaches out to you and offers one, they're fake. If they ask for money, they're fake. If they're just chatting you and telling you things, they're fake. I don't use DMs, and that's a good way to know and recognize the fakes, and that's the main reason that I don't use them, so there you go. Thank you in advance for those who gave back today with super stickers, with memberships, and super chats as well. So I'm going to take a moment now to acknowledge all of that. Before I get to that, a quick reminder, I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and we do this every single Sunday. So if you enjoyed this, and even if you're watching a replay and you're like, I want to join the live, every Sunday right around 9, give or take, after Apollo's walk, I show up, and we navigate a new topic every week. All right. Thanks to everybody. If it's your first time, if you've been here a lot, I don't care. I'm just happy that you're here, and I appreciate you. So I'm going to take a couple moments here to recognize the newest members and those who gave back with a sticker. All right, so let's see who's new today. We had a few people rejoin here, and some new folks here. So let's see. We'll start at the top here. So Joan, B Rabbit, Tina Marie, Rowena, Buff Bay, Jeanette, Shelby, P. Let's see, Allison, Elaine, Phoebe, Shirley, Felicity, Deb, and B. Deidre. Thanks to all of you, whether you joined for the first time or some of you rejoining after a year or two. I'm noticing a wide variety there. It's good to see you back, and this really helps my channel, so thank you in advance. Super stickers and super chat. Let me take a moment just to give a shout out to all of you, and let's see what's going on here. All right, so today we have Ruby, Amitabha, Elvie, Monica, let's see, White Buffalo, Aquarius Moon Sisters, twice, thank you, Angie, let's see, Lucy, Karen, Yoga Rising, Kathy, and I think that's everything for today. Thank you. I'm gonna look really quickly at the chat and see if I missed any. Yeah, we did here. So what is it called? Like anniversaries here. So Deborah, thank you for 4 months of membership. Let's see who else might have had an anniversary. I think that's just about everybody. Let's see. Yeah, that's it for today. That's all I can see. Oh no, Liz Morrison, 21 months. Thank you. And thank you for gifting 5 of those today. I knew if I scanned up here, I could see some special stuff. So that's so sweet when someone gifts it and helps out. Muggle as well, thank you for gifting 5. And I think that's all I can see backwards, but if I missed anybody, know that I'll catch it when I go through the replay, and I appreciate your presence, your time, your energy as well. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, and I'm so pleased that you decided to come through, and look who came back, just in time for the closing. All right, Apollo, let's say goodbye to everybody and then I'll take him for a walk. All right, wishing you guys all the best. Hoping that you're having a great week ahead. I'll come back again around the solstice so that we can do a special reading. And lots of love and snuggles from Apollo, okay? Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. I'm trying to turn it off one-handed. It's not working. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.